The revelry begins early for this weekend, and so thousands gathered last night for what used to be called the world's largest outdoor cocktail party. The Florida football team, the first to make their way inside Alltel Stadium. As the faithful gathered to welcome them inside, fans of the other team making familiar noise. And good afternoon, everybody. I'm Bert Lundquist, along with Gary Danielson and Tracy Wolfson. We welcome you to Jacksonville. A neutral site featuring a game between bitter rivals provides one of the great spectacles in college football. And so this afternoon, one side awash in orange and blue, the other side a blanket of red and black, as these two teams collide in Jacksonville for the 74th time. This has been a series of streaks. Florida is the streaker right now. They have won 14 of their last 16 games, and this one is significant. If Florida can win out, they will win the SEC East, and they will go into Atlanta for the SEC Championship game. Tennessee, of course, plays at South Carolina tonight. We mentioned the two Georgia defeats. They need a victory here, and then they need some help. But they will be pumped in this one because of the losing streak that they currently have had to encounter against this team from Gainesville. The Georgia Bulldogs, losers twice. The Florida Gators, losers once. And 84,000 are ready to welcome them, and here comes Florida. Here come the Bulldogs. Gary Danielson, let's talk a little bit about this Florida team first of all. Urban Meyer hired to bring them back to championship level. Going about it in a way I don't think we expected.
Well, not just us, Vern. I think everybody expected that Urban Meyer would come here and do the reason he was hired here, win games, and he's doing that, but have a spread offense and really attack. He had that spread at Utah and Bowling Green. But he's come here to Florida and found a lot of great athletes on defense, and he's riding them to a potential SEC championship, and none more important than Reggie Nelson. I think he's the MVP of the SEC. He's got great range, versatility. He plays on the special teams, speed all over this football field. He's that free safety spot. He covers up a lot of mistakes. Power. When he hits you, he's got it, and leadership. He's known as the eraser. Because if they make mistakes, and they don't make a lot of them up front, he erases them. I think he's the reason Florida has a chance to win.
Well, he is going against a Georgia team, as we mentioned, that lost 2 in a row at home, came back to defeat Mississippi State. They have finally settled on a quarterback. It's the true freshman, Matthew Stafford.
I think the word settle means he's getting snaps not just in the game, but in practice too. Matthew Stafford was supposed to be a phenom. You can see his talent when you watch him on the practice field and in the football games and on tape. He's not there yet. Which Florida player will give him some help? He's only a freshman. Will they block a punt? Will they cause a fumble? Someone on this Bulldog team needs to help this guy if Georgia's going to win.
Well, Florida, last outing, a bitter loss to Auburn. How have they responded? Let's go down to Tracy Wolfson for more on that.
Thanks, guys. Urban Meyer said his team was devastated after their loss to Auburn, but he told them that they needed to just move on and focus now on the SEC Championship. To drive his message home, he handed each player a card. On that card was a quote from Danny Werfel about their loss to Florida State in '96, which ended their perfect season. Werfel said it just felt like the breath got knocked out of you. There was a lot of negativity after the game. To see those senior leaders change that was special. That was the key for us. To have been knocked down and get back up is a pretty special thing. Guys, it's these Gators who are now looking to rebound from their loss. Like that '96 team, they still control their own destiny in the SEC, and they still remain alive in the hunt for the national championship.
All right, Tracy, thank you. Georgia leads the series 46-36-2. That includes a Georgia win in Macon in 1904 that Florida refuses to acknowledge. That seems to go on.
A lot of these things.
A lot of them, yeah. No. We were playing club football. I've never seen a team deny a victory. No, it's always a loss. Here's the kick, and it'll be taken by the Gators at the goal line, Brandon James, the freshman from nearby St. Augustine, and he elicits roars from the Florida faithful as he takes the opening kickoff out near the 40-yard line. Brandon James, 5'7", 165.
And we saw this little guy break out against Tennessee when he almost single-handedly won that football game with his returns. He's played a little tailback, but you can see on the kickoffs and the punt returns, he is a weapon.
Ball is spotted at the 38-yard line. Here is Chris Leak. His 4th game as a starter in this series. He's 2-1. Leak steps back, gets a little pressure, pulls up, fumbles the ball. Recovered by Florida. That is the 5th fumble by Chris Leak this season.
Well, 4.5.
Okay.
That one was kind of questionable, right?
It was, yes. Oh, you're talking about Auburn.
Key to this football game, can Georgia put pressure on Florida, only rushing 4 people, maybe 5 at the most? They want to drop back in coverage, but they must have pressure on Leak. That was the key of why Auburn gave trouble to this Florida offense.
Loss of 1, 2nd down, 11. Billy Latsko is in the lineup. This is Percy Harvin, the freshman, in motion. Gets the handoff, goes left. We're going to see a lot of him in the backfield today. And Harvin is out to the 43-yard line. Let's give you the lineups presented by Applebee's. The last true freshman to start in this series was Chris Leak. He won his first game 4 years ago. Up front, Troutwine, Tart, Rissler, Miller, and Metter. Baker, Cornelius, and Caldwell, the wideouts. Deshaun Wynn and Billy Latsko in the backfield. And in his 2nd season, the head coach, Urban Meyer. 3rd and 5. Good protection. Leak finds the man open for the first down. At the 46-yard line, that's Andre Caldwell, who is playing his best football of the season in the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, he's just healthier. The reason we saw that Alabama game. Remember, he had that little short pass and put it into the end zone. You give this offense some space to run it with those 5 wide receivers or 4 wide receivers in the spread offense, and you know Leak will complete it, and protection was the key. They kept Latsko in. They had 6 people blocking and only 4 rushing, and that created the time.
That's a nice early omen now for Florida. They were only 1 of 7 in 3rd down conversions in that loss to Auburn. They're hitting 47% for the season. Here's the handoff to Harvin. Comes right. Somebody lost a helmet, but the ball does not come out. Defensively for Georgia, here's the way they'll line up. Johnson, Owens, Weston, and Quentin Moses, 2 outstanding defensive ends. The linebackers, Miller, Jackson, and Tony Taylor. And the secondary, Ramarcus Brown, Keelan Johnson, Trey Battle, and Paul Oliver. 2nd and 8. Head coach in his 6th season, Mark Richt. Caldwell in motion. Gets the handoff, sweeps, spins, and is down at the 40. It'll be 3rd down.
Ran that sweep from the spread, something that you will see this Florida team do a lot. How about this against Auburn? They rushed the ball against Auburn, Florida did, for 171 yards. 113 of those 171 were done by quarterbacks and wide receivers. That's the style of offense Urban Meyer would like to run. Wide receivers coming back in the backfield, snapping the ball, and running it from the spread look.
21 of 38. Leak back, Leak pressured, inside go. It's caught by Andre Caldwell, and that will be another 1st down. So 2 of 2 on conversions in the early going.
And Georgia changed up that time. Willie Martinez, defensive coordinator for Georgia, said we cannot allow that to happen. This time 6 people come on 3rd down. You're going to see everyone inside, 6 here. Here's the breakdown. You cannot let the receiver get inside when you're man-to-man. Inside, kind of a push-off. Collision right there, but Asher, the true freshman, could not handle that one-on-one.
And here is the true freshman, Tim Tebow. Only 4 plays in the loss to Auburn. We'll see more of him today. And we'll see him do this. He is a bit of a factor.
You know, he came right up against the free safety that time and didn't even get off the track. Because this guy, when he sets his eyes on where he's going, he does not deviate. He's tough. He's 6'2", 225 pounds. And watch as he goes right at Trey Battle. It was Trey Battle who dipped his shoulder lower, and Tebow, who ran right over the safety. Boy, that is just energizing for this Florida offense and their team.
And Chris Leak is back on the field. Here's Harvin in motion. The option. Harvin comes right to the 11-yard line. Maybe they'll spot this at the 12.
You know, Vern, oftentimes you hear, talk radio or the writers kind of question a game plan. But you see Harvin, right there, number 8, coming back in motion from the wide receiver. Then just kind of a speed option, very safe, pitch almost all the way. But after the game, Urban Meyer against Auburn, as he watched the tapes, he admitted, I did not use Tebow and I did not use Harvin enough in the second half of the game. He said, we will get them touches.
Second and 8 at the 12. Florida loads up with 3 to the left side. Now 1 is in motion. That was Harvin again. Here's a reverse. They come right. This is Andre Caldwell. Gets a block at the goal line. Got it. Touchdown, Gators. Dallas Baker provided the block.
Option one way, come back with the reverse the other way. That's that spread offense that Urban Meyer was famous for.
Chris Hetland's extra point is up and good. 2 third-down conversions in the drive. They overcame a substitution penalty, and here's the touchdown.
Yeah, Percy Harvin, number 8, is the option man that could be pitched to, but watch Dallas Baker, number 81, right there. You know how long you have to hold the block on a reverse? Dallas Baker, the touchdown maker, is the guy that was the blocker on that one. Vern saw it, but it was easy to find. It was right in front of the touchdown.
Florida leads by 7. 1 year ago, Matthew Stafford was leading the Highland Park Scots in Dallas to a state championship. Now he's the starting quarterback for the University of Georgia. The 18-year-old gets his 4th start. He becomes only the 4th true freshman to ever start in this game for the Georgia Bulldogs. But how impressive a drive was that for Florida. This one out of bounds. Joey Eos kicks it out of bounds, and Georgia with an optimistic start.
Well, Florida tried to get a little cute there with a pooch punt down the sideline and was just a little wide. That's going to put the ball in great field position.
Stafford, the quarterback for the season. He's had 4 starts. You see the interceptions. That's been a problem. He's 3 touchdowns, 7 picks. Up front, Shackelford, Velasco, Nick Jones, Adams, and Inman. Bryant and D'Amico Goodman get the start outside. Milner, the tight end. And in the backfield, Craig Lumpkin and Sutherland, Brandon Sutherland. Hand off, they slip it to Craig Lumpkin, and he's out near the 38-yard line. This Florida defense has been outstanding this year. McDonald, Thomas, Cohen, and Moss, the starters up front. Crum, Seiler, Earl Everett are the linebackers. And the secondary, we've already featured Reggie Nelson, Reggie Lewis, Tony Joyner, Ryan Smith are the other 3. 2nd and 7. Left side, Earl Everett is up high to make the tackle. And let's go back to the studio for this Liberty Mutual update. Here's Tim Brando.
Vern and Gary, this is a huge game in the Atlantic Division of the ACC. On the first play from scrimmage, Reggie Ball hit, fumbles the football, picked up by Glenn Cook, to take it in for a score. Miami with the early lead against the Ramblin' Wreck. Vern.
All right, Tim, thank you. Mohamed Massaquoi, who has had problems with dropped passes, thus earned a demotion for this game, is on the field now. And out of the spread, Stafford, full blitz coming. Stafford goes right. It's caught by Mikey Henderson, number 27, and he is belted by Tremaine McCollum.
The Florida defensive coaches circled third down. They said, we got to get off the field. We've been doing a good job keeping them from scoring, but our offense is not getting enough plays. When you're playing zone, move up a little bit. When they catch it, make a tackle. It's exactly what Florida did.
So Gordon Ely Kelso is on the punt. 3 and out for Georgia. And Brandon James, who will occasionally light it up, is at the 20. Here comes the pressure. Ely Kelso has had one blocked. That was against Tennessee. James gathers it in at the 18. Out of bounds at the 26. That's a 42-yard punt, 8 on the return. Georgia most impressive with the opening drive. They've got the ball back. And we'll be right back. 1st and 10. Chris Leak. Take the snap from Steve Rissler. Harvin on the field. Fake it to Harvin. Leak rolls out. He'll tuck it and run it. Gets a downfield block from Bubba Caldwell. And Chris Leak, who is not known as a running quarterback, to put it mildly, gets a nice play on first down.
Well, good for Chris Leak. I mean, you really have to admire. I mean, I played this position. I don't know if anyone can relate to having to come off the field when it's your team, your senior year, and watch the new guy go in there and make plays and electrify the crowd. But this guy has been true to his teammates and true to his drive to win a championship, and I really admire his whole attitude about this football season.
You see the numbers in the previous 3 games against Georgia, 4 touchdowns. He's yet to throw an interception. Here's the handoff. Percy Harvin, number 8, the freshman. Well, let's see what Quentin Moses did on that one.
Quentin Moses, who broke out last year with all those sacks, speed guy to the outside. He's going to take on Latsko, turn it inside, and turn it into the help inside where Dale Dixon makes the tackle. You know, as a defensive end, you got to rush the passer, but you also have to turn those sweeps inside. And that's why what Moses did on that play.
Gain of 1, 2nd and 9. Deshaun Wynn splits way wide to the left.
That's him way out there. It's going to be a zone defense. That forces a zone defense from Georgia.
Harvin in motion. Leak under pressure. It's incomplete. That was Paul Oliver, number 8. Defending, it'll be 3rd down.
What pressure again on Leak. That is exactly what this Bulldog defense needs. You know, they lost, you got to be honest, they lost confidence since that second half against Tennessee with all those points. A couple stops here against this Florida team, and that confidence comes right back.
Well, they were up 24-7 just before the half at home against Tennessee. Tennessee got a touchdown just before the break and laid a cool 51 on them. They then lost at home to Vanderbilt. Barely got by Mississippi State last week. 3rd down. Leak steps up. He'll run again. Looks for blocking help. He's denied the first down as Tony Taylor, number 43, made a secure tackle. It'll be 4th down.
Absolutely did. It wasn't number 15 running, and you knew number 12 running. You can do it now. A 3-man rush from Georgia. Chris Leak needs to give that a little more time. You're rushing 3. You don't have to bail out quite as quickly on that. You got 3rd and long. You need to hope, depend on that offensive line. You know, a sack doesn't kill you when you're on the 45-yard line. Should have hung in the pocket and really played out that play.
Eric Wilbur had his first touchback of the year on his previous punt. He might have his 2nd here. And he does.
Wow. About a half yard away from being perfect on that one, wasn't it?
Yeah. And things getting a little chippy. There's the handoff. The ground game not effective in the early going here. Jarvis Moss, number 94, with a stop on Craig Lumpkin. Georgia was using 3 running backs, Danny Ware, Thomas Brown, and Lumpkin, and then Brown went out for the season with an injury, so it's a 2-man crew now. Lumpkin clearly number 1, and Danny Ware the backup. We've reached the end of one in Jacksonville, with Florida scoring on its opening drive. We'll return to Alltel Stadium after this message and a word from your local station.
In trouble. Got a block behind him. Gonna throw on a run, complete to the 25, to the 30. Lincoln's got 35, 40. Lincoln's got 45, 50, 45, 40. Run, Lincoln, 25, 20, 50, 10, 5. Lincoln stop. Lincoln stop. Lincoln stop.
I think without a doubt the most famous radio call in the history of this series. It was 1980. Larry Munson on the call. He was midway through his career then. He's still in the radio broadcast booth working this afternoon. And we begin the second quarter. Vern Lundquist, Gary Danielson, and Tracy Wolfson. Second down and 9. Matthew Stafford with Lumpkin and Sutherland in the backfield. Play fake. Stafford chased right. Pulls up, chased, and caught. He did get back to the line of scrimmage, maybe got a yard, but Gary, that seems to exemplify what we've seen today, this difficult problem that Georgia has moving the ball.
Boy, it sure is. And I think what Georgia has to do here is not panic. I mean, it's hard to run the ball against Florida. We all know that. But if you give up on the run, then you get that front four just kind of a feeding frenzy. Continue run. Don't expect a lot of yards, but it keeps that play-action pass alive. But I think Georgia has to be able to play-action pass to move the football against Florida.
Well, they've got a 3rd and 7 here. Blitz. They toss it back. Oh, was that dangerous. Marcus Thomas was closer than Sutherland, the intended receiver.
You know, usually on this play, you look one way and turn back and fire the ball. Marcus Thomas was in a stunt to the outside. It was a called stunt up front. He just goes wide like this. Kind of an end game with Moss coming inside, and there, look, if that would have thrown directly to Sutherland, that would have been picked up. The Bulldogs dodged one there.
Another 3 and out for Georgia.
Head goes up with 1,001. Florida will go.
Now this time they've got the return on, and it's a fine punt by Ely Kelso. Brandon James at the 34. Gets by the first tackle. Watch out. One man to beat. There is a flag.
Yep, early.
I caught myself saying there are flags. There is only one, and it's way back at the 37.
Only one is needed. Right now, Georgia's praying that it's on Florida.
In the return, illegal block in the back, number 36 on the receiving team. 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. It'll be first.
That's the second time this year, Gary, that we've seen a Brandon James touchdown on a punt return wiped out by a penalty. He went 89 against Tennessee.
It was called, I believe, on number 36, Nick Brooks. Last time against Tennessee it was very marginal. I don't know if I get a vision of it from this angle, if I can see it anywhere. And that one I don't get it. Jarvis Jackson, number 45. Oh, yeah, there it was, right to the right side of the screen. Happened a little later. Jackson had a shot right there, but not quite fast enough. 36, just a push, a slight push from behind. But when an official sees that body cross a defender from behind and any kind of fall forward, he's going to make a call.
To the relief of the Bulldogs and their faithful, it's still 7. All right, Tim, thank you. Georgia trailing Florida 7-0, 10-10 to go in the second quarter. I love the fact that Jack Nicklaus dotted the I at Ohio State today. And here's Tim Tebow. Oh, it's Chris Leak. I beg your pardon.
Yeah, we both expected Tebow here. When he was effective, Florida ran it right down the field.
Leak goes deep. Caldwell wide open. at the 5. He's in for the score. Second touchdown today.
I tell you, we both might have expected Tebow. Maybe Georgia did too. What a beautifully designed playoff. Play action. You hold the linebackers with the fake in here, and then you get the guy in the middle of the zone right there. To Caldwell, ball is thrown not too high, puts a little air on it, but not too much, and Caldwell gets it.
Chris Hetland with the extra point. Bubba Caldwell with the touchdown catch of 40 yards.
He's healthy, he's experienced, he's got his speed back, and he knows to find the soft spots in the zone, and Chris Leak throws it exactly where you should. You don't want to lead him too far on that one. You just give it to him and let him go from there.
Chris Leak, 5th touchdown against Georgia in his career.
Here is the kickoff. A pooch kick and a fair catch. Taken to the 39-yard line by Brandon Miller, the linebacker. So Eos kicked one out of bounds earlier. This time pops it up, and the catch is made.
Well, Georgia cannot make a mistake on this play right here.
8 seconds to go. And they'll keep it on the ground. Lumpkin out to the 44. Tackle is made by Reggie Nelson, and we have reached the end of the first half of play. Florida has won 14 of the last 16. Mark Richt 1-4 in this series. Let's go down to Tracy Wolfson, who's with Mark.
Coach, just 81 yards of total offense. What adjustments do you need to make?
We just need to make some plays. We need to block up front. We haven't blocked well at all. Haven't had much going on in the running game. Unless they played cover 2, and you better be able to run against that. But when they've loaded up the box, we've not run the ball well at all. We've got to protect, got to make plays.
We've seen so many quarterback changes this year. Will you make a change at the half?
Oh, Stafford's not the problem. I can promise you that right now.
Great. Thanks a lot, Coach. Back to you guys.
All right, Tracy, thank you. First half ends with a score of 14-0 Florida. Let's go back to Tim Brando in our New York studio. Florida with a 2-touchdown lead at halftime. Here in Jacksonville, the Gators over the Georgia Bulldogs. Back in Jacksonville, Georgia won the toss at the beginning of the game. They deferred the option to the second half, so they will get the ball as this game gets underway in the third quarter. The game being brought to you again today in high-definition television. 14-0, Florida scoring on its opening possession. And then a mid-second quarter 40-yard pass from Chris Leak to Andre Caldwell. Joey Eos will kick off, and it's taken by Danny Ware, number 28. And the kickoff return goes about as well as everything else has for Georgia. A moment ago, Tracy Wolfson with Urban Meyer.
Coach, we saw Chris Leak limp off on that final drive. Can you tell us his status?
No, he should be fine. Dallas Baker has a shoulder too, but we need those two to play in the second half. They're ready to go.
You controlled both sides of the ball. Will you make any adjustments in the second half?
No, I think we played fairly well on defense. Offensively, we just had a couple big plays. We're not playing very well on offense. We have to play much better.
Thanks a lot, Coach.
You concur?
Well, they put 200 yards up. I just think there were more yards out there. That's what Urban Meyer thinks.
Georgia has a first down now. The handoff, there's a fumble. That one is loose, and the Gators pick it up, and it is touchdown, Florida, Ray McDonald.
That halftime speech for Georgia didn't go too well, did it?
I think it fell flat.
Come out, keep it together, get back in a football game, and on a very safe play, you hand it off and cough it up for a touchdown.
In 1985, Ray McDonald Sr. wound up on the cover of Sports Illustrated because he caught 2 touchdown passes in Florida's win over Georgia. Ray McDonald Jr. just scored. Who knows? Maybe there's a Sports Illustrated photographer here. Here's a small irony. That is only the 4th fumble recovered this season by Florida. McDonald gets the touch. Back in Jacksonville, another look at the fumble.
Well, it was Derek Harvey right here is going to step inside Inman's block, and that's what causes all the problems. Lumpkin gets it, but there's Harvey reaching out to swat that ball with his right hand and his left hand, and then Ray McDonald gets it on the second bobble and dives over. Nightmare scenario for the Bulldogs.
And they find themselves trailing by 21 and will receive the kickoff again. Joey Ijas, that's I-J-J-A-S. Look at the first possessions of the second half in the last 4 games.
Well, they should just stay out on the field. Change the Gatorade formula in there, I think.
Circle around, lads.
Yep.
We'll stay right here. Ijas. Danny Ware at the 8. And he comes out near the 30-yard line. And here are the halftime numbers, Gary.
Well, for Florida to put up 200 yards and a half, I mean, they've been struggling for yards, this team. We've talked about it. And this is the number 2 rated defense in the SEC in yards given up, Georgia. And as upset as Urban Meyer was, all of a sudden a 14-point manageable game turns into a 21-point potential problem.
Matthew Stafford. His 4th start of the season. 2nd in succession. Started and finished last week. Avoids. He's not known for his running ability, and he had a man wide open up at the 40, but kind of an off-balance throw.
Yeah, Matthew Stafford is going to really find out what it's like to go against a pass rush in the SEC now. He was going to let that ball go, but Brandon Silent was right in the path of that throw. Comes out, expects to run, and then spots a receiver just a little bit too late to get it to him. I think it was Danny Ware.
2nd down and 10.
McDonald's in a tackle. Harvey's in it, and they're coming.
Stafford with time, goes deep, man open. That one is caught by Michael Moore, a sophomore from Fort Lauderdale. And a gain of 19.
Well, see, that's what protection, and that's exactly what Mark Richt said at halftime. Believe me, guys, it's not our quarterback. Now, I understand what he's saying, because if you can't block him up front, it doesn't matter who you put at quarterback. Give him a little time. Right there, he made a nice throw, nice touch throw.
1st and 10 at the 44-yard line. Georgia has been across the 50 one time. This is their 8th possession. Here comes the blitz. Pretty good blitz pickup, but the pass behind the intended receiver, and it might have been tipped. Well, Matthew Stafford committed early. Just to tell you a little about him. His mom and dad met while students at Florida State. He was born in Tampa. John and Margaret moved to Dallas, and he was raised in Dallas. Started as a sophomore at Highland Park High School. A year ago, 4,000 yards, undefeated, first state championship for that school since 1957.
Yeah, and he admitted to us on the phone that if Mark Richt wasn't the coach of Georgia, he would not consider Georgia, and that's because of his ties to Florida State.
Considered Florida State, considered Texas. Here's the safety blitz. Stafford rolling right, chased by Everett, and Stafford has to throw it away, incomplete. Well, he led that team to an undefeated season in the title last year. They're undefeated again this season, despite the fact that Highland Park lost 22 seniors off of that team.
Yeah, and Matthew Stafford seeing the whole package now from Charlie Strong and Greg Madison. You got guys coming from every angle. This time it was inside with Everett on a blitz. And you know, Jarvis Moss, number 94, the defensive end, he was 20 yards downfield covering a back that time.
Greg Madison, co-defensive coordinator, Florida, shares those duties with Charlie Strong. 3rd and 10. From the corner, Stafford hit from behind. Did he fumble?
Yes, he did.
Did Florida recover?
Yes, they did. And Moss The guy that was in coverage last time comes around the backside and hits it out of his hand, and Derek Harvey, number 91, picks it up. Moss, again, I can't even stress enough, he was dropping 20 yards one time and then comes from behind on a rush this time and gets it, and there's the other defensive end, 91, picking it up.
There's a small irony as well. Jarvis Moss played high school football for Ryan High in Denton. That's less than 20 miles away from Highland Park. They know each other, do Stafford and Moss. Keyston Moore on the field from scrimmage for the first time. Play fake, Leak. Lots of time. Tate Casey, the tight end, is open. Down to the 32-yard line.
Leak's pass completed to number 84, Tate Casey.
Well, how about the Florida defense today?
Yeah, it just as advertised, you better be able to run it against these guys, because if that front four gets involved in the football game with that pass rush, there's really not a lot of things you can do about it. And when you throw it, guys like Ryan Smith, Reggie Nelson are all over the football field, and if they start causing turnovers on you, it gets to be a feeding frenzy very, very quickly.
And it's a first down after the 13-yard gain. Harvin brings it back near side. And he's inside the 20.
You know, that almost looked like a mistake, but Harvin was trying to time that snap. But coming back, here comes Dallas Baker. He does more than just catch touchdown passes. Hurt his shoulder in the first half on that catch and still out there blocking. Remember when certain people questioned the toughness of the Florida team? Looks to me that this Florida team now has decided that they are tough.
You realize Deshaun Wynn
touched it yet, has it?
Has not carried the ball today. Here's Leak. Looks deep for Baker. And he has to throw it away. Well, we were here for the walkthrough yesterday. I know you had a chat with Urban Meyer, and it was implied, if not explicitly stated, that Harvin was going to be a big, big part of things today.
Oh, sure. I think what happened is in the week off, and in fact, Urban Meyer said he called Rich Rodriguez, head coach at West Virginia, to see how he could get his guys involved. And what he said, we looked at every guy who touches the ball and what they do afterwards with it. And he said, we have to get the ball to our playmakers. And Harvin, I don't care if he's a true freshman or not, is one of our playmakers.
Second down and 10 after the incomplete pass. Harvin's back there. Here's the option. Leak. Not much he could do. It was played nicely by Charles Johnson, number 99. Harvin from Virginia Beach, Virginia. You made the observation to me that he's a little larger than that guy from Southern California.
Reggie Bush, I mean, is it going to be part two? He's got that type of ability. He was a running back in high school, getting used to the ball in space. Whether you hand it to him or throw it to him, he's a threat. And, you know, he's bigger than advertised. I think he is bigger as a true freshman than Reggie Bush was as a true freshman.
Had some issues in high school, was kicked off the basketball team, suspended as a matter of fact for his involvement in a fight. There's on third down, Leak. Oh, batted down by Charles Johnson, so number 99 a factor in that one.
Really tough to throw this wide receiver screen if you don't touch the defensive end. And this time, Johnson comes untouched on the play. Not even a wave by Troutwine right there. You've got to at least slow him down or you're not going to get that ball out there.
And so we're going to see Chris Hetland. Chris Leak goes to the sideline. Hetland, as we mentioned in the first half, 1 for 5. The only one he's made was from 22 yards out. And he was 13 of 16 a year ago. Nope, doink. Wow. 1 of 6. It's amazing.
I was reading the SEC preview magazine before the game, and he's picked second team all SEC preseason. 1 field goal all season.
Bink. Beautiful day here in Jacksonville. Life being lived on the St. Johns River. You know, you and David, Gary, thought you had the bus going back to Naples tonight. I got bad news for you. the bus he called. You're taking the boat.
That's not going to get there from here. That's a long way
trip.
around.
You might as well use the Panama Canal.
There's no direct access from there.
9:58 to go, and here's Georgia trying to find something that will work offensively. 3 turnovers in the game. Stafford across the middle. Brandon Seiler defending. Let's go down to Tracy Wolfson.
Thanks, guys. Florida's Percy Harvin and Tim Tebow lead a freshman class that is considered to be one of the best in the nation and also maybe one of the best ever at Florida. Before the season began, Urban Meyer handed out a card to each of the freshmen, and on this card there were 5 rings. 4 SEC championship rings, 1 national title ring, representing what the freshman class of '93 accomplished. He told them no matter how highly regarded they were, they haven't done anything for the Gators. So you haven't done anything yet, go out and prove yourselves.
All right, Trace, thank you. Here's Stafford back. And intended for Mikey Henderson. It's incomplete. Well, of course, that team won the national championship, and the Heisman winner was Danny Werfel. The coach was a guy named Spurrier. And 13 true freshmen have played in a game for this team this year.
Yeah, and not just played, I think contributed. And there's no way this team is controlling their destiny for the SEC championship without the true freshmen playing on this team.
And a true freshman at quarterback now, Matthew Stafford, in at quarterback for Georgia. 3 turnovers, last 4 possessions. Stafford.
Got a rocket.
You know, he can put it on the line, can't he? It's incomplete.
I don't know if he caught it, but it was thrown pretty nice. Happened right in front of Mark Richt that time. If he thinks he caught it, he can challenge it, obviously. Stafford's backing up. He feels the pressure all day. Throws falling to his left, but can gut it. There's no doubt about that. Puts it right there, and is that a... Yeah, that hit the ground, didn't it?
Yep.
Another drop ball for Georgia's receivers that have been such a problem in the past couple years.
On 4th down, Gordon Ely-Kelso back to punt. Gets it away, not particularly effective. Brandon James runs up and lets it go out of bounds at the 40-yard line. That's a 33-yard punt for Gordon Ely-Kelso. On 3rd down, Leak pumps and fires. Oh, is it picked off? Tony Taylor might have grabbed that. He did indeed, and that is the first time in 4 games Chris Leak has thrown one to the guys in red.
And Tony Taylor had a big interception against Vanderbilt to take the lead in that football game, but this time an interception was needed so bad he's going to block right there. Watch Taylor. He's going to be right there in the corner. He reads one guy, pushes out, and stays right in his area. He's playing space, not people. Leak thought he'd leave the space. He did not. Came back and made a wonderful interception.
Tony Taylor's 4th pick of the season.
If Mark Richt has a package of plays that he thinks could get him back in the game, now is the time to unveil them.
Best field position to start a drive for Georgia today. Pass to Sutherland, the fullback. That's a nice start. Big play all the way to the 35-yard line. Reggie Nelson makes the tackle on the fullback.
Sutherland has been open probably more than anybody on the football team for Georgia. And more importantly, when he throws it to him, he catches it. Coming out, we've seen him on bootlegs. That was that ISO play and sliding him on the outside. One of the staples of the Georgia offense, and why when they're in I formation, they must run it a little because that play is important to their offense.
Penalty 5 yards, face mask, broken tackle, and Danny Ware slips through. Picks up another first down. Reggie Nelson with the stop. Gain of 12.
Well, it was a combination here, okay? Turnover to get Georgia juiced up. First down, play action, safe pass to a sure-handed fullback. A penalty by Florida, and then you run the ISO again, and the only guy back is the eraser number 1 to save a big play again.
This is by far the most effective offensive drive for the Bulldogs in the game. Here's Stafford under pressure. Finally pulls up, fires, is caught inside the 5, and another flag. 2 of them are down. Did he catch his own pass initially? That's
sure
it.
Is.
Yeah, he did.
You know, Reggie Nelson that time in the secondary was cleaning out people like he was just taking names and numbers and knocking them down.
Illegal forward pass, number 7 on the offense. By rule, you can only throw one forward pass on a play. He received the ball and threw a second pass. Therefore, it'll be a 5-yard penalty from the spot of the foul, loss of down.
All right, nice job of explaining it.
Yep, McDonald knocks it back to Stafford. Stafford goes, well, I don't want it. Can't throw it again and got nothing else to do, so he throws it again and gets a 5-yard penalty. On that play, Martrez Milner, the tight end, was wide open on the play for a touchdown, and Reggie Nelson away from the ball says, you are not running cross routes against my secondary. Keep your head up.
2nd and 21.
That could have been called unnecessary roughness, by the way.
Here comes the safety blitz from the eraser. Screen pass. This one might go for a ways. Back to the 13-yard line, Danny Ware. It's 3rd down here, 21-0. Stafford changing the play.
5 across right here. Looks like man-to-man, and Florida's coming.
Quarterback draw. Stafford pumps it up the middle. Touchdown!
Call at the line of scrimmage. No free safety in the middle, man-to-man coverage. They went with the quarterback draw. It was a perfect call from the bench.
Heady play by the 18-year-old from Highland Park in Dallas. And the extra point is good. 13-yard romp by the quarterback.
Yeah, spread them out and check to see where's number 1. Number 1 isn't right here. Number 1 is over here. So he knows that he's got an opportunity with man-on-man everywhere. If he breaks the line of scrimmage, I can get there with space. Everybody's turned their head and get it in on 3rd and 6. A huge drive for Georgia after the turnover, helped by a penalty by Florida, and they're covered by a penalty from Georgia. We got a football game, 21-7.
We welcome you back to Jacksonville. 74th time Georgia and Florida have played in this city. And Matthew Stafford grew up a Mark Richt fan and a Florida State fan, signed early with Georgia. Said he also considered Texas, Michigan, Southern California one of the most highly prized recruits of a year ago. Here's Andy Bailey's kick. Taken at the 10 by Brandon James. And he gets out to the 23-yard line.
James with the return to the 23-yard line.
Georgia and Florida, these bitter rivals, meeting here with Florida up 21-0. They were up 14-0 at the half. A fumble recovery, return for a touchdown by Ray McDonald. But just a moment ago, Matthew Stafford ran one in after Chris Leak's interception. Here's Tebow and the pitch. Percy Harvin, freshman to freshman, going left, and a nice job defensively of stringing out the play.
Yeah, Keyline Johnson that time, number 30, the safety, came up. We were talking about those safeties, so big for this Georgia defense and this run of great seasons for Georgia. And that time Johnson comes up and makes the tackle. You got to string it out inside, and you got to run from the secondary.
Keelan Johnson with the tackle, 2nd down and 12. Tebow will keep it. Nothing there. Asher Allen, number 2, and Keelan Johnson defensively.
Yeah, I think Drew Miller, his guard, almost ran right over him. He can run over the defensive guys, but when he gets knocked unexpectedly from behind, Drew Miller knocks him down, and Willie Martinez says, I bet we get Chris Leak, and that's exactly what's going to happen.
Willie Martinez, the Georgia defensive coordinator. Charles Johnson. Here's Chris Leak. Threw an interception last time out.
Can Quentin Moses or Charles Johnson force Leak into another bad throw?
Leak has to throw it away. 4th down.
Great changeup from Willie Martinez, defensive coordinator for Georgia. The expecting pressure. They drop 8, only go with 3-man rush. And that's the way to do it. There was no one to throw that ball to. And remember when Leak scrambled out before against a 3-man rush? He hung in there that time, and there was nowhere to go. It's first time in the stadium today I feel the excitement in this football game. The Georgia fans now believe.
4th and 10, Mikey Henderson. Averages 17.5 per return. Eric Wilbur. Poor punt. Line drive. Takes a hop at the 47.
Hit the leg of a Georgia player. I think it was Johnson.
It's a turnover.
Yep.
How do you do?
4th turnover of the football game. This is a killer.
Oh, my goodness.
When that ball is kicked short, you got to call it poison, poison, poison. I think it was Keelan Johnson, number 30, that got shoved into the ball a bit. Watch number 30, left side of the screen right there. It's Latsko. No, hits him. One bounce before Latsko even got there. Got to get out of the way. Mikey Henderson is calling poison on the play, get out of the way. But the crowd got loud, real loud, and Johnson didn't hear him.
And whom do you think recovered it?
Who was it? Number 1? Wow, he's all over the football field.
Houston Moore, Billy Latsko in the I formation behind Chris Leak. And they try to reverse. It comes right side. Bubba Caldwell. Nice defensive play. Paul Oliver.
Number 5, Reggie Caldwell, ball carrier, tackled by number 8, Paul Oliver. And 2 on the field.
Well, we've been talking about the difference, what is there much difference between 9 and 8 and number 40? Well, last week we had an example of that. Number 9, Notre Dame played at home against number 40, UCLA, and you can see what happened. UCLA had that football game, stopped them on the 4th down play. Notre Dame comes back and win the game, but Vern, you're seeing it. It's just a squeeze between these teams. There's 3 or 4 good teams, and everybody else is about the same.
2nd and 13. This is Caldwell on the sweep to the left side. He's going to get to the 25-yard line. Well, I saw Charlie Weiss, the Notre Dame coach, and they won big today, but he was in his press conference after the win against UCLA complaining about the fact that his team dropped in the rankings.
Yeah.
One of them he was upset with was Florida. He said, what did they do? They were home eating cheeseburgers.
Exactly. Well, they're in the SEC, and they got a chance to win it, so they're going to be alive.
Well, we've reached the end of 3 in Jacksonville. Our score 21-7. Gators will return to Alltel Stadium right after this word from your local station.
Blue Angels flying overhead through blue skies above Jacksonville. We begin the 4th, 3rd and 6. Here's Leak, right side. It's caught by Caldwell, and he is stopped at the 25-yard line, and that is going to set up a 4th down. Vern Lundquist, Gary Danielson, Tracy Wolfson. We begin the final quarter, a 21-7 game. Chris Leak seems to have slowed down a little bit.
I think he's like 12 for 25, something like that. If you would have told Georgia Leak is going to be 12 for 25, 1 touchdown, 1 interception, they say, we got a chance to win this game. Georgia's turned the ball over 4 times. I mean, if you're going to stay in a football game against Florida, you can't turn the ball over, and that's what they've done. And let's see if Florida can kick a field goal, and looks like they finally do.
No, they don't.
Oh, it's spun out again?
No, they don't.
Look at that.
I mean, it's a real anomaly. Chris Hetland was 13 of 16 a year ago. He's now 1 for 7. And most importantly for Georgia, they turn the ball over on the muffed punt and don't give up any points. We've still got a ball game. Missed field goals by Chris Hetland have helped keep Georgia in the game.
Well, if Georgia's going to win this football game, they're going to earn it because Florida has not given up a touchdown in the 4th quarter all year.
I formation on 1st down from the 25. Stafford, little flip out to his fullback. Sutherland catches it. Nice run.
That's how Georgia started the scoring drive last time. Went to the fullback in the flat, the same exact play. Try to get that yardage off the line of scrimmage, play action pass, slip your fullback out there. Look at Sutherland turn and handle that ball. Right now, Mark Richt is going, if we could just find some wide receivers to catch the ball that comfortably.
Second and short. Nick Jones over the ball. Stafford hands it off. That's the fullback, Brandon Sutherland. And Georgia keeps possession of the ball. Stafford under pressure, has a man open, and he drops the ball.
Same guy. Martrez Milner, number 87, makes a good move on the play. Kind of gives a head fake. Watch him give a head fake on Joyner. Comes across. Ball is thrown perfectly this time. This isn't a one-handed catch. This is a two-handed breadbasket. When you're down 14 points and you just made 4th and inches, you got to make that catch. And nobody knows it more than he does. I mean, I understand that.
2nd and 10. Blitz. Stafford has a man open. Massaquoi. First down, Georgia to the 32-yard line. Guy's got a gun. He really can fire it.
I haven't seen many people throw a football like this. Ryan Smith was on the coverage this time. Tried to get a little cute with Massaquoi. Tries to jam him. Massaquoi goes right around him, and this time the ball is thrown right at the number. Couldn't drop that one if you wanted to. It would have been embedded right in the one.
Massaquoi is out after the 21-yard gain. Mikey Henderson goes wide to the left. From the 31, it's first down. Again, a play fake. Again, down the middle. And again, a drop.
No. Got Chuck Knobloch disease right now.
You got to be kidding me.
Those are the booing fans of Georgia right now, wide open. Sometimes it just gets in your head, and right now, for Martrez Milner, it's in his head.
Now the backup tight end is Trip Chandler. Milner did not play in the last game, and now as he comes off, that's kind of a nice moment as the Georgia fans directly behind the Georgia bench give him a little bit of vocal encouragement. Lumpkin to the 26-yard line. And I can just feel 12 teams with one defeat around the country.
Exactly.
The phrase, "you got to be kidding me," comes to mind. Here's Stafford. Flag down. Pass is thrown into trouble. Intercepted.
Yeah, there was a flag out there, but as Stafford tried to throw that away, he didn't get it out wide enough.
And the flag is at the 35. I'm going to bet holding.
You bet, because I'll tell you right now, Brandon Seiler's running off the field, pointing the other way.
Personal foul, face mask, number 70 on the offense. That penalty will be declined. 1st and 10, Florida.
Well, it was in the offensive line.
Nick Jones, the center that time, who's been matched up all day inside against Marcus Thomas and Joe Cohen. He gets the call on the play. Referee makes the call. Now Stafford tries to throw it away off his back foot. And there's Reggie Lewis, comes right up there and gets a 5th turnover of the football game.
Florida's got it back with a 21-7 lead. Downtown Jacksonville.
Well, this Georgia offense, boy, I mean, they got guys open, and you can see it is they throwing the ball to guys open, just can't catch the ball when they're open.
4 drops today. TIAA Crep postgame show coming up, time permitting. We've got 9:34 to play in this one. First down, Chris Leak. Rolls right after the play fake, flicks it out, caught. And a little tap dance at the 10-yard line by Andre Caldwell, who has 2 touchdowns today, one on a reverse and the other on a 40-yard catch. 2nd and 6.
The Georgia defense, even though they've given up points, we've been talking about that, came into this game ranked second in the SEC in yards giving up, only 267 yards a game. And even though it's looked bad against the offense, they've only given up 263 all football game.
And Tim Tebow is on the field. Starts right, comes back left. Fumble, ball's out. That is a Georgia recovery.
The Tebow attack has not worked. 5 plays, 2 times first and second down, nothing, and now he comes in on second down and coughs it up. It's just a safe up the middle play. Gets hit just as he turns around. It's Danny Verdum Wheeler got it. Number 42, the linebacker from the Sauk side, put his helmet right on the football as Tebow was falling forward, and that's a fumble.
Wow. Second turnover for Florida today. Tebow. Keelan Johnson recovered it after Danny Verdun Wheeler made the contact. And Matthew Stafford playing in his first Georgia-Florida game. Quarterback draw again. Scored on this play in the third quarter. And he gets this one down to the 8-yard line. Well, Martrez Milner has a day he will not soon forget.
Well, he thought last year was bad when he dropped the opening play of the game, the perfect pass. But today, that one was a tough one. But these last 2 have been right there. Tough one. Come to the sideline and give his teammates credit, though. They came up to him, and he's still on the bench. Leading scorer on this football team is the fullback, Brandon Sutherland, number 36. He has been effective. He's been dependable. Will they be able to find a way to get him the football?
In other words, you think they're going to throw it to him?
I don't. Well, in the football game,
oh, well,
they'll do it.
Second down. 3 wide right. Stafford in. Oh boy, that was dangerously close.
Yeah.
Numbers 1 and 1 had a near collision at the goal line.
It was a baited play right here. Florida was trying to get Stafford to throw that slant, and Reggie Nelson was playing the slant the whole way. Outside technique from the corner right here. He's going to invite it inside, and look at Nelson run right at the receiver, and that's a drop ball. He felt Nelson come, and he heard the footsteps on that one.
Oh, did he ever. A Bulldog became a Gator for just a moment.
Gator arms on that one.
Third down. Handoff right side. Toward the goal line. Touchdown. Craig Lumpkin with a surge at the 5 in for the score.
Two third down plays, a quarterback draw, and just a zone read play. Give it and run it right up at the Florida's defense for a touchdown.
Andy Bailey is on for the extra point. Gordon Ely Kelso will kick. Bailey in relief of Brandon Coutu, who's out for the season with a hamstring. Good. Well.
Spread formation, hand it off, run it against the best rush defense in football, runs right through the tackle by Earl Everett, and Georgia notches the first touchdown against Florida's defense in the fourth quarter this year. 21-14, Georgia's right back in this football game.
All right, sun setting here as well as in Atlanta, Tim. 21-14, sun hasn't set on these guys. Teams committing 5 or more turnovers have lost 74 of their last 77 games. The relevance, of course, is that Georgia has committed 5 today, and they won last week.
2-5. Maybe they got a formula finally.
It's a dangerous way to live.
Sure is. Has Florida, Florida misses field goals. They drop the ball on the 15-yard line. Georgia gives Florida free 7 points. It's been both teams giving the other team points.
Brandon James takes the kick. Comes left. Oh, boy. Benjamin Boyd, a sophomore linebacker, number 57 with the tackle.
Watch James look back to see if he's in the end zone. He wanted to stay in the end zone. He found out he was on the 1-yard line. He lost all his momentum coming out and could never pick up the speed. That allowed, in that little glance back, that allowed that Georgia on-rushing cover team another 5 yards closer, and he could never get it going.
7:58 to go in the game, a 7-point margin. Florida has only one timeout left. Georgia, the full complement of 3. Leak hands it off. They'll go up the middle. Deshaun Wynn into the tackle of Jeff Owens, number 95.
Second carry of the game for Deshaun Wynn. How about this, Vern? Second half total offense for Florida. Coming into that play where they gained, what, 5 yards? 59 yards in the second half. They had 200 at halftime, and Urban wasn't happy. I don't think he'll be pleased with 59 yards plus 5 more.
Well, this game really was kind of lifeless at halftime. And that quick drive by Georgia, highlighted by the 13-yard run by Matthew Stafford, ignited the crowd. Here's the handoff up the middle. It will be third down. Tony Taylor, who has an interception today, gets a tackle on that play. Percy Harvin. Pretty surprising, no pass plays called. I mean, it's been all runs here. Well, the first down pass out to the outside to Caldwell. Since then, they've been trying to run and pick up first downs. Deshaun Wynn splits wide to the right. Leak in the spread. 3 down for the Bulldogs. They rush only 3, drop 8. Coverage. The pass complete, and Dallas Baker avoids the first tackle from Asher Allen, but he is stopped at the 26. It will be fourth down. Keelan Johnson, number 30, got there.
Georgia played great zone defense. They took advantage of the 3rd and 20 and just let it happen in front of them and forced Dallas Baker to catch the ball in the middle of the field, exactly where you want him to.
So the Bulldogs are going to get the ball back with just under 5 minutes remaining, and they have all 3 timeouts left.
Wow.
Mikey Henderson, if he gets a chance to return it, can scoot. Line drive, Wilbur with a poor punt, hops out of bounds. It does negate the return. But that's a 36-yard punt, nothing on the return. 4:50 to go. Blitz, Stafford, play fake. Got him. Brandon Seiler came right up the middle. Middle linebacker, number 40.
Play action pass. Georgia only sends out 2 people that time. Max protection, couldn't pick it up. Seiler right there, okay? Inside blitz, comes free. Sutherland tries to get out late, but no time for Stafford to make any vision downfield.
Well, the last time a true freshman led Georgia to victory in this game, 1945. Oh, it's a pretty pass, but Massaquoi was well defended.
I thought I saw his jersey get a tuck on that one.
I thought I saw the same thing.
Ryan, well, that's why you said well defended. Ryan Smith ISO'd on Massaquoi. See if he doesn't grab his jersey just a bit right here as he goes inside. There's the tug on the jersey. That could have been called.
3rd and 17. Only 2 men split wide. Play action. Stafford across the middle, Massaquoi. Defended again by Ryan Smith. It'll be 4th down.
Yeah, now Georgia has all 3 of their timeouts left, so with 4 minutes to go, they can punt this thing and get it back. Stafford with a gun. Throws it in there, and Massaquoi can't get it again. You know, it looked like Ryan Smith. Did he have his hand on his arm again there? pretty tricky little corner by Ryan Smith. He's good. You know, if you can hold and get away with it, that's good coverage.
Now you think about the impact he's had taking advantage of the new NCAA rule, which allows a player to graduate if they, or rather to transfer if they have graduated. And he is a graduate of the University of Utah, where he played for Urban Meyer. 4th down. Reggie Nelson is now back instead of Brandon James. So here's Mr. Everything. Oh, dangerous catch. No flag, and Nelson's down at the 27-yard line.
That Reggie Nelson is a gamer, isn't he? He has absolutely no fear. Ice water in his veins. The game's on the line. He catches it, turns it up. I want him on my team. If I'm choosing sides on the playground, I'm picking Reggie Nelson.
And so, from the 27. Look at the big 3 rivals, Tennessee, Georgia, Florida State. Gators have never won 6 straight against these teams. Now, one of those wins belonged to Ron Zook.
Last one against Florida State, but Urban's got the other 4. I mean, it's about 4 minutes away from getting one more, and a first down puts the game away.
Keyston Moore is the running back now, 2 men wide to the right. Handed off to Keyston Moore. He is popped. Ball's loose.
Absolutely.
Who got it? Florida got it.
Wow. Is that the kind of safety hitting you used to see with the Bulldogs?
I think so. This was a linebacker, Tony Taylor.
And didn't Billy Latsko get the key fumble last year? Pulled out by Taylor. Latsko fell on it before, and Latsko got it again.
Time has been called with 2:55 to go.
Wow, what a heads-up play. Staying in the football game, no low. Billy Latsko's right over here. Watch him. He's going to go block, keeps his head up, sees the football, and gets it just an inch before. What a play.
Latsko, the one-time walk-on from Gainesville. And with 2:55 to go, 2nd down 8, last time out, taken by Georgia. And here are the Gators trying to go 7-1. If they win out, they will be in Atlanta for the SEC Championship game. Baker. That gets to the 35-yard line. This is Deshaun Wynn, Jeff Owens. 95. 3rd down and 3. 2:49 to go. Leak with the option. They reverse it. Bring it near side. No way!
Face mask.
And a flag. This might give Florida the first down.
Quentin Moses does a great job of staying at home on the play. But did he get the face mask accidentally on the reverse? How about that play, 3rd and 3 with the ball game on the line?
Yeah.
Mark, it was right in front of Mark Richt's face right there. He saw it just as well as I did.
Incidental face mask on the defense. 5-yard penalty from the previous spot. It'll result in a first down.
Listen, he followed his assignment, stayed at home, turned him in, made the tackle, and his hand slips up off the ball for just an incidental brushed against it. I mean, it was so small. I'd like to see it one more time because that flag came from the Georgia bench. Let's look. Can we look at that one more time? Huge call.
Wow.
Has it on the ball, comes up and touches the face mask.
There certainly was never a grip.
You know, Caldwell helped it by turning his head to kind of almost influence the call on the play.
1st down and 10. Barring a turnover, that should do it. Georgia can stop the clock one more time.
Wow.
Oh boy. 21-14. 2nd and 6. Georgia out of timeouts. Hand off. Deshaun Wynn. He comes near side. And the clock will continue to wind down under 2 minutes.
Hope Georgia has a chance to get the ball back, but now it won't be with the 2 minutes to go to run an offense. If they get it back, it'll just be seconds to go.
And so Florida leads by 7 points, 21-14, 3rd and 4. Wynn coming left. Fights off the tackle and picks up a first down. Remarcus Brown with the contact. And that contact was short of the first down marker.
Sure was. Looked like he almost ran through 2 tackles here on this one. Comes up, kind of an arm tackle. He dodges one, and he runs over Brown for the second one. Deshaun Wynn was such a bowling ball type body. You saw him out there in practice. I mean, he's a huge body.
And a report from Tim in New York that USC did not convert the 2-point play. It's 33-31 with 7 seconds to go. There's the kneel down by Chris Leak. If they run the table, they go to Atlanta. They've got Vanderbilt on November 4th at home against Steve Spurrier and South Carolina on the 11th. Western Carolina on the 18th, and then they finish up with another out-of-conference game at Florida State.
They also got the SEC Championship, of course. Probably, Arkansas, maybe Auburn still, LSU still alive. And with that USC loss, if they run the table, they're going to be standing up and say, we deserve to play for the national championship. Georgia is going to make a strong argument. Florida's going to make a very strong argument about it.
Florida has got to be a part of any conversation.
Absolutely.
Among one-loss teams. Urban Meyer, Mark Richt. A show of mutual respect. And Chris Leak, 3-1 as a starting quarterback for the Gators against the Bulldogs. Mark Richt, now 1-5 in this series. 21-14 the final. For Tracy Wolfson and Gary Danielson, Vern Lundquist saying good night from Jacksonville. We'll see all of you